let's come to the UK and talk about the Leicester attacks, which I think the current situation, it's calmed down, but there is a fear still that this is just the start of something to happen. And so I think there's been a lot of confusion, false information, deflecting blame, as you may know, but bottom line, it seems like this was an attack on Hindus, if I dare say. So there is concern in the Hindu community. So anything you would like to share on what your insights on the situation?
There is this concept of jihad, which ultimately, of course, people argue that it's meant to be an internal jihad, but externally it manifests itself in violence, in fighting. And for many years, whenever we celebrated our Independence Day or our National Day in London, these fellows from the country across our borders, which keeps fighting with us, those jokers mobilize in England and they come and shout and scream and do all kinds of funny things, while the British police and the British government, given their tradition of tolerance and what have you, step back and say, let these third world type animals vent their rage, etc. It doesn't enhance their respect. In fact, it destroys whatever little respect is left. But I've heard this expression before, let these animals fight it out. And I've heard this in England. From English people. I haven't been to England in 1,000 years. Not that I intend to. Let these animals fight it out. Because that has not been the British system between communities and so. Well, they've had the Irish thing, but that's on a different level. So what is happening now, the information that I get, my assessment is that indeed it is true. The fundamentalist believers of violent version of Islam, which is totally intolerant of other religions. We all become kafirs. If you don't believe, that's it. You have the right not to exist. So they are getting together and they are trying to show that they are becoming a potent force. The target today to demonstrate that they are becoming a potent force is the Hindu community. The target tomorrow will be the country. There was a video which I'm told has been verified of something similar in Denmark. I don't know if you've seen it. It was given to me by a senior official from Denmark, where a Pakistani fellow who's a Danish citizen and speaking fluent Danish is fighting with a Dane, with the blonde hair and the deep eyes, etc. And what he's saying to him is that, you guys better watch out because your women don't produce children. 10 Danish married women or unmarried women, between the 10 of them, they'll produce maybe 2 kids a year. He said, but I'm going to be married to 4, we'll have 25 kids and we'll soon Islamize all of Denmark. And there was a crowd of Danes gathered around and they were whispering that, look at what this idiot is saying. This is not helping your cause any. So when you talk about this, when you start screaming Allahu Akbar and, we'll Islamize the whole world. No, you won't, brother. And there are several people who've tried before you and they sleep in the graves. And there was a fellow who tried to Nazify the whole world. Ultimately, he put a gun to his temple and pulled the trigger. There were others who've tried to do many, many things. It's not going to work. So therefore, I do hope that the people in England, the people who hold the reins of power, will realize what's happening. That the ultimate target is the country that many blame particularly from across our western and our eastern border, both Islamic countries, Bangladesh and that other fellow who fights with us. They say, well, you were responsible for our misery, so now we're going to give it back to you. Well, good luck to you. We don't. Let me tell you a true story. Just a few months ago, I was visiting the capital of a developed nation on assignment. And when I was boarding the plane to leave that country, as usual, there's the security check. And since I wear rudrakshas and I wear a cross and I have a little thing which contains the dust of Mecca, and then I wear the Sikh kala, the bracelet. So the metal detectors went wow, 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 and they went berserk. So this guy came up and said, sir, if you don't mind, I'll have to pat you down. I said, go right ahead. Why should I be upset? So I stuck out my arms and he was patting me down. Then he said, where are you from? I said, from India. Now listen to this. This young fellow would have been in his 20s, 25, 26. He said, are you a Muslim? And I said, no, I'm a Hindu. He said, then I don't need to pat you down. What a strange comment. And I said, I'm a Hindu. He said, I don't need to pat you down. Of course, I didn't even tell him I was an ambassador of India. And he said, just go. I said, well, thank you very much. So the perception that is, you can curse and shout and say, terrible fellows, they have wrong perception. Islam is a wonderful, peaceful religion. But that's not the impression that is gathering ground. That's not what you are showing to. Mm-hmm. We are seeing it increasingly, particularly fundamentalist Islam is a very violent religion. Mm-hmm. And I believe that it's time for introspection by all the Muslims across the world to see where are we going wrong. We talk of globalization. We talk of, this is the age of instant communication. And then you have to understand that what is the image you wish to give of your country. Now, this neighboring country of ours, they had floods they had this massive earthquake in Kashmir. They occupied Kashmir in 2005, then massive floods in 2010. 2005, when there was that huge earthquake, the world promised $6 billion. We gave some help. And there was a British government report that of that 6 billion, probably not even $500 million reached the intended recipient. The rest was siphoned off. Now today, with the floods, they're saying we need 30 billion or immediate relief of 6 billion, 10 billion, whatever the figures. And the total commitment so far is 50 million. Even that is not come. The United States and the United Kingdom, which will be the disunited kingdom, so after the next Scottish referendum, they have said that, all right, we'll give the money, but our own people will administer it. We're not giving it to you. No one trusts them. The Prime Minister of that country also said they don't trust us because they're afraid, as in the past, it'll be siphoned off. It'll be purloined. It'll be cheated, it'll be filched by the military and by the government. I was at this dinner in New York, and there was a couple from that particular country, and I said to them, your government has issued an appeal for overseas people of your nationality to contribute. I trust you'll do so. And the wife looked at me and said, Mr. Ambassador, can I be blunt with you? I said, yeah, ma'am, go right ahead. We're in New York. And she says to me, the capital of my country is not New Delhi. Whatever we give will be stolen. I don't know. I didn't know what to say. Wow. I said, well, I changed the topic. That's the level of trust and faith they have in their own system.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.